You'll never get away with this, Dr. Calamitous!
Oh, but that's where you're wrong, Sympathy Man. You've fallen into my trap just in time to witness my latest invention, the incinerator! With the press of this button, your precious little city will be nothing more than a pile of ash.
Prepare to be...
Oh, fuck, my coffee's ready. Shit. God damn it. Let's see here. Come to Papa.
Do you need help with that?
Silence, Sympathy!
Is everything okay?
Anyways, with the power of the incinerator, your city will be, vaporized and... Come on.
There's a wire. Da 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 da, Sympathy Man. Is everything okay?
You sympathetic fool! Ugh, god damn it. Let's see here. Okay. Shit. Come on. Oh, this goes there. Then that goes there, right? This took like way too long. Gotta try this. Maybe if I try that, it'll work out. You know,
So first I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Winston Gregory. I directed and animated that short Sympathy Man you guys saw. And it was really fun to make. I had a small team of people. You could see in the credits, I think it's about 7 people that kind of helped me do shots here or there, but I did about half the animation and then they helped me out with the other half, which was really great. I graduated from San Jose State University with a BFA in animation. And before then, I always loved animation. I was always interested in art and stuff. I was the kid that was always drawing in class, trying to make other kids laugh with like funny drawings. I think an early age is kind of what kept me from being bullied. Like I kind of made friends with my bullies by drawing pictures. But I mainly did it for myself. I love making myself laugh. My heroes in animated comedy were always guys that were creating stuff on the internet, because I found that they always just made what they wanted, and they kind of didn't really care if it was crass. They didn't really care what other people thought of it, and I always admired that. They always kind of pushed the envelope. It would never be anything you saw on TV. It wouldn't be able to get like past a network. And I remember just seeing that when I was in like early high school, late middle school, and being kind of obsessed with it. And I kind of still am today. I still have a lot of people that I looked up to. And my favorite animated comedies, I would say internet animated comedies, like the likes of Psychic Pebbles, Ego Raptor, and now Meat Canyon, who I think is kind of taking over that mantle. I love movies, of course. I'm a big fan of like all the Disney Pixar movies. And I love the comedy in Shrek. But I think I'm a little more into TV animated comedy. And it's not surprising for me to say that I'm a huge fan of Rick and Morty, what they make there. I'm a huge fan of Justin Roiland in general, because he sort of started, Justin Roiland is a co-creator of Rick and Morty. He started on the internet and then ended up creating stuff with Dan Harmon. During the Channel 101 days, Dan Harmon had this website, and they kind of got to know each other and then started working on content together, and then eventually over time, Rick and Morty became a thing. But I just love how Justin Roiland has a very distinct voice. I think I love animated comedies that have a distinct voice, and you could feel the fun coming off them. Like the people that worked on them were having fun when they were making it, and I think that is kind of when you get the best animated comedy. So the skills you need for creating animated comedy, I don't think you actually need to go to college like I did. It definitely helps for like the discipline part, and I think you make connections and you meet your peers. But there's a lot of people that make it without having to study it. If this is something you're passionate about and you really want to get into animation, get the Animation Survival Kit by Richard Williams. That has everything in it. That is really what you need. And then the internet has plenty of things to learn from. Drawing with Jaza, he's a YouTube channel that shows you how to create and animate stuff in Flash, and just look up tutorials, really. That's my advice. Now, creating great animated comedy takes a lot of time. Something that you're really proud of, you need to practice a lot of drawing. I think figure drawing is important, fundamental to kind of like learn your posing, kind of get a feeling of weight distribution and kind of a nice gesture. A gesture is the feeling of a drawing. And even in limited animation, like the one you saw now, I'm still always thinking of that. Like, where's the weight? Where's the limited animation stuff? Again, lots of studying. Know your 12 principles. Look up the 12 principles of animation. That's going to help you out. So the idea actually came from something that happened in my life. I went through a breakup, and it was really difficult for me because I still really cared about the person. It just wasn't working out. And kind of in our last conversation in the car, she told me that I had a lot of like I was like, oh, I'm sorry if this is all confusing, And then she says, no, that's okay. You have a lot of empathy. Now, it was originally called Empathy Man, but I changed it to Sympathy Man later. But it just got me thinking about kind of what that meant. And I think I was on a plane. Whenever I get bored, that's really when I come up with my ideas. If I'm just kind of bored with nothing to do, with like zero stimulation, my brain kind of starts going. I started to have this idea of this character, because I feel like I always like superheroes, like who doesn't? And just a character that is super powerful in every way, but his weakness is something that's considered to be like a good thing, like sympathy, like feeling bad, And then I thought, like, what would this guy's arch nemesis be? It would be some guy that you would feel really bad for, But this guy's really evil. So that's where I came up with the idea for Dr. Calamitous, because he's like the antithesis of a very feeble, kind of like pathetic kind of character, but he acts like he's the most evil genius on the planet. So I had these two characters in mind, and it started making me chuckle. I was sketching them on the plane, and then I kind of had a couple of story ideas coming off it, because I felt like I could really relate to Sympathy Man as a character, because he had, he would be a guy that would sort of feel bad for the villains he has to take down, and I could kind of relate to that in certain moments of my life. So when I had that idea, I kind of held on to it for a while. Other stuff happened in my life. And then when the comedy crowd asked me to create something, after I won the Chorts competition with Madam Horace, I had that idea. So I was like, hey, what about this? And they seemed like it was, they agreed to it. It was an honor being recognized for... That's a real great feeling, is when you spend so much time on something and then it's being recognized and enjoyed. So I really appreciate that, and then for you guys giving me a chance of creating another thing and then hosting it. I spent a couple weeks doing the storyboards for it and kind of pitching, like showing them to the comedy crowd. And the way I like to do storyboards, I like to model everything in 3D and then draw kind of over it, so I could kind of get the scale and I don't have to draw the rooms or anything. So this one was easy because it was kind of taking place in one environment. So I didn't have to think too much about my perspective, because I could do it, but it does take a while. And then after we agreed on the story, I kind of started working on the character designs. And then for animating in Flash and Toon Boom, you have to create rigs. So that includes turnarounds, so the character from every angle. And then you have to split that up into parts, like the head, the neck, kind of where the joints are, and then line those joints up. Create different symbols for the eyes and mouth. And then once you get your character designs, you could go into what's called layouts. So layouts is you put them into each shot. So what I like to do is I create a thing called a shot list. So it has so this had 30 shots in it, this short. So I create a thing on Google Sheets that is like a 1 to 30, and then I kind of grid it up. So, okay, I need this, I need that, So you have layouts, and then you have backgrounds. I did the backgrounds last in this one. I got a little help on that. And then if there's any effects, you want to add those in later. And then, of course, animation. So there's a process in animating where you kind of block out each pose, which is just kind of your basic poses, and then you go in and you animate. Luckily, I had help on it. I had some people from my university that were interested in getting into the project. When you have a storyboard and a story, it's way easier to get people to jump onto your thing than just the idea. So I would say that if you want help, show them a storyboard. So because a storyboard, you could kind of already see it done in your head. I did the voice acting for both characters initially, and then I knew I wanted to swap out Sympathy Man for another person. So I had this character, or this friend, that had the perfect voice for that.
You'll never get away with this, Dr. Calamitous!
And he helped me out. But yeah, I did the voice for Dr. Calamitous, and that was a lot of fun.
You've fallen into my trap just in time to witness my latest invention, the incinerator!
I had a friend with good recording equipment, and he helped me out there. Some of it I wasn't available to get over there, and I had to edit it in, but it was fun. And yeah, so get those storyboards in if you need help, and show it to people, share it, because that's the point also where it can get fixed, is when you have the storyboards. Because when you have your backgrounds and your characters and all that stuff, it's going to become more difficult to edit and fix it. It's just going to take more time, and then you might have to cut like maybe 2 to 3 hours of your work back of something you worked on. You have to see it through, like I create a calendar of kind of generally what I want to get done. Try to push for deadlines. Try to spend a few hours on it a day. So the animating it took 2 months. Maybe it was like a month of other stuff, prepping it, story, characters, all that stuff. It also just depends on how many hours you want to put into it a day. Yeah, first start small. Don't start with like this 3-minute film. It took a long, 3-4 minute film. It took a long time to make. So I would start with something that is super small. Start with tests. Try to learn your fundamentals. Do the bouncing ball. Do that stuff. If you want it to look really, really good, or as good as you can make it. Yeah, finding limited ways of animation is the best. I know people on YouTube that I look up to that have amazing animation, but if it's like too Disney-esque, it just is a long time to make. Like, there's one guy that I love, but I'll tell you, like, he comes out with maybe 1 or 2 things a year, because it takes a long time to make. He's very technically good at it, though. So that's why I love Flash, is you could kind of crank out shots faster, and that sort of works better for creating something within a couple months. Yeah, I would say also show your storyboards. Try to, like, it could be easy to be sort of prideful of something you make, but in order to see if it's working, you need to have people watch it and see what they think. And I'll tell you now, the joke of the animation is going to wear out real fast because you're going to be working on it the entire time. So you have to laugh at the storyboards before you laugh at the film. You can't expect it to start being funny as you're animating on it. Because, you could add in details, you could add in stuff that might make it seem funnier, but the storyboards have to work. So, yeah, always start with a storyboard. I'll tell you that. Thumbnail. That's like tiny little drawings. That also helps you come up with ideas. I like to do my things in 3D and find my camera angles. That also helps. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can find me at Toaster Child Productions. This is my YouTube channel. I have Instagram. I might create Twitter someday. I know that's important to do as well. And you could DM me there if you have like any specific questions. I'm working on a little 30-second thing right now that I hope to come out with soon enough. But yeah, if you're really passionate about this, start with something small and then build from there.